What's a good job? Welcome to my review for this week's episode of Sword Art Online Alicization. Now this episode, well, it's first off fucking phenomenal. Like, this is without doubt one of my favorite, if not maybe even my favorite episode of Alicization so far. Voice acting was some of the best in the series, and I cannot wait to see this episode get dubbed. Which, speaking of dubs, let me talk about the English dub of Alicization, because I haven't been able to talk about. Last week was they aired a recap episode, which you guys know I don't watch those. And the week before that was the week where actually made Toonami debut. But yeah, so overall, first off, I'm glad to hear the English cast back again. It is kind of weird hearing the English voices again because it's been so long since I see season 2 in the English voice. So it's glad. So after the initial, like, oh shit, I forgot how these guys actually sounded. First off, love the English cast. The guys they got for Alice and Yujo, great picks. So far, they definitely do a good job. Now, we still have no idea what's going to go down with episode 10, which you guys know I'm going to react to that one. For one, because I should have done it when they aired this up, and two, I'm curious if it's just fully uncensored in the English when it airs on Toonami, and three, I want to know how the English cast is going to do it, like, especially with the voice actresses of Ron and T say Godspeed to them, because I'm sure that must have been some of the most awkward recording sessions ever. Anyway. So besides that, the English dub so far is fucking phenomenal. I love it. You guys know I love the English dub for SAO. And now this episode was, and now the end. Now I won't lie, this episode did kind of trigger me. Low-key kind of pissed me off. Now it wasn't like I was angry at it, but it was more like frustration, kind of pissed off with, of course, what happened with Yujo. I screamed at the TV like I haven't screamed in a while. It's been a while since I screamed at the TV like that. I haven't screamed at the TV like that since either when I was watching Naruto and all the time Naruto would pick up on the obvious signs he not the light wants his dick, or well, no, I wasn't screaming at the TV when I watched the second half of season 1 when Zuko would do those things to Asuna. So yeah, I think it's probably even when I was doing Hinata, I wasn't screaming as loud as I was. Like, it's been a while since I've screamed like, "No, you fool!" Stuff like that. It's probably since I've seen like a horror movie. I forgot. It's been a while since I've seen a horror movie like that. But besides that, now one last thing. This episode reminded me a lot of, especially the final parts of it. The whole ending sequence in general reminded me a lot of Tokyo Ghoul with Kaneki. And if any of you guys who know Tokyo Ghoul, especially if you read the manga of Tokyo Ghoul, you can probably notice a lot of comparisons between Yujo and Kaneki in that scene, in that whole ending sequence when he's with the administrator. And I also noticed some comparisons between this episode and the latest issue of the Venom comic, which you guys know I'm currently reacting to that series. When that dropped, like, I think, what was it, like, no, it dropped this week. It was this week. That video's already up on the channel if you guys in case want to watch it. But I noticed a lot of similarities with that and how it related to what happened with Venom in the latest issue of Venom. I will get to those. I will obviously get to that part when we get to the end of the episode. So this video will probably end up being longer than my usual reviews. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up being like a 30-minute long episode. Hell, maybe I'll even top my longest recorded video when I did that episode of Tokyo Ghoul. I think it was like the week after Chapter 125 got adapted, where my review was over 40 minutes long. So who knows? Maybe I'll top that. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that front. So anyway, guys, enough jibber jabber, enough me talk about shit. Let's get to the actual episode. So we start this episode off with Kirito and Alice. They're still on top of they're still on like this little pillar area, or like this little, I don't even know what you call it. This little area where they were last, just chilling. So after they defeat the enemy. Which actually, one other thing I gotta talk about before I really just dive in head first in this episode. I forgot to mention this earlier, but I recently saw the first episode for Kaguya-sama Love is War. Fucking phenomenal series. Like, out of all the anime, like I said, guys, I've been trying to be a lot better with the seasonal anime this season, because last time, like with winter and fall, or fall, I should say, fall and kind of summer-ish as well. You guys know I was slacking hardcore, especially with fall. I was slacking hardcore with it. I'm doing a lot better now. I've been watching Dororo, Promised Neverland, and now Love is War. Of course, that's it. I still haven't watched. I still haven't seen Kakegurui season 2. I think I'm just gonna wait till it drops on Netflix and watch the whole series dubbed. And Mob Psycho 100 season 2, which I still have yet to watch. Which I think I'm gonna wait. I'm hoping. I'm still kind of low-key, kind of hoping that the show still ends up getting a dub. Now, Megalobox is almost done airing on Toonami, so I wouldn't be surprised after that's done airing. Crunchyroll announces that, hey, yes, we are doing an English dub, because if Crunchyroll announced that they were doing an English dub of the Legend of the Shield Hero, they announced that they were doing a dub of that. So I wouldn't be surprised if they called them and do Masao, because remember, if you guys watched on Toonami, Masao Season 1, there was no Funimation logo anywhere, it was just the Crunchyroll logo. So hopefully Crunchyroll does end up doing a dub for Season 2 of Masao. Hopefully it's the same cast, because at the very least give me the same guy who plays Reagan, because that dude did an amazing job as Reagan. Anyway, and SAO, let me talk about last week's episode one last time, real quick. The reason why I was so excited and interested in that episode, which I never really mentioned this in my review, which that's my bad, I completely forgot about this stuff, and why I also didn't react to it, was because this was the first time we ever saw Yujo fight one-on-one. Because remember, in all the previous fights Yujo's been in, Kirito has always been in there to either save the day or just back him up. Or he's the one that's usually doing most of the fighting. So this was Yujo all by himself, no backup from Kirito, no nothing, it was him, mano a mano with this other guy. And I'm sure we can all see Yujo pass with flying colors with Kirito's training. So, I wanted to get that quickly out there. So, anyway, so we started this one off with Kirito and Alice, which just pretty much took the bulk of the episode, was Kirito just talking about Alice's memories and kind of giving her what she. We learned a little bit more about the administrator and everything, and of course the Integral Knights and everything. So, as I was saying, so she tells her that her name is that you were brought, that you are here summoned for a purpose for a purpose that was put into you by someone else, and that was of course the administrator who sent you over here from the gods to of course take down the Dark Territory, or as so as you told. You can't remember who was your mom, you can't remember who birthed you, you have no recollection of your family, nothing. You can't remember nothing, you can't remember where you were born, where you grew up, none of that. And so, he first tells her real name is Alice Zumberg, if I remember correctly, that was her last name, Zumberg. And she, of course, grew into the Highlands, I think it was called, in the city, Gurdel. I'm probably saying these names wrong, so forgive me, guys. Yeah, so that's where you grew up, and when you were 10 years old, you slipped and broke the taboo index and barely crossed the boundary into the Dark Territory, which the taboo index you broke was of course going into the Dark Territory. You were of course kidnapped then, and yeah. And so he also talks about you, as I mentioned earlier, and she's like, wait, Alice Zumberg. She puts her hand on her face. She's like, what? And she's like, trying to remember, and she can't. And Kira's like, whoa, don't try to force yourself, otherwise you're going to end up in the same way as that other guy. I forget the dude's name. The same guy, I'm assuming she's talking about that he's talking about the same guy from a few weeks back, the dude in purple. I think it was the dude in purple that ended up having the little prism thing come out of his head before it went back in. I'm pretty sure it's that guy, so he doesn't want Alice to end up the same way as he did. At least not yet. And so he continues, tells her about Selka, how she was her little sister, and that she is, following in her sister's steps, trying her best to, of course, be a master of the sacred arts, just like her big sis was. So Kirito continues. That's pretty much where that whole first part. So after we get just a section of just nothingness, of just a pan, a zoomed out shot and a pan up this whole thing of just nothing happening. I felt like could have been shortened down. I thought this was a little weird. I was like, why y'all pausing this much and just doing nothing? Come on, let's get back into it. Why y'all stopping here? We get back there and Alice asks her, as Kirito, will I ever see him again? Will I ever see him? And And she says, if I agree to help you and regain my sealed memories, because as we know, her memories are sealed off by the administrator, so that she can be easily manipulated or whatever. That you would take me to Grendel and see it. Just one look. That's all I need, and I'll be satisfied. Let me see Selka before the true. That comes out later. That take me to the to there so I can see it for myself. And then he tells her that when you do regain your memories, all the memories from here when you became Alice, the Integral Knight, will be gone. It'll just be Alice. Zomberg. I forget. I probably said her last name wrong. That this Alice will only exist, and that any memories of when you were a Tail Knight will be gone. Just the memories of Alice when she was like 11-year-old girl and everything. Which actually reminds me a lot. What I'm talking about right now, it actually reminded me of Bunny Girl Senpai, because you guys may remember in the last episode, Kaya, I think that was her name, was, what was the Jew's name? His name is slipping my mind right now. The main MC for Bunny Girl Senpai. I feel so bad, I'm forgetting his name. This dude was like my favorite character in the show. Shit, I feel like such an asshole, I bet. Anyway, his name might come back to me later. That we know that his sister ended up losing all of her memories of her current self and regained her memories, and she doesn't remember any of her recent stuff. She just goes back to her original memory she had before, when she first got the puberty syndrome and everything. So it's kind of like the same thing happened in Bunny Girl Senpai. Weird comparison, but hey, there's a lot of comparison you can make with this episode, weirdly, to other shows. So anyway, back to where I was at. So and she's like, all right, of course, I stole this body, pretty much. I have to return what I stole, right? So he says, will you take me to Grendel to see it before the original Alice takes back what is rightfully hers? And he says, yes, I swear to you I will. And I'm like, bro, should you really make promises like that? Okay, what else, man? What else? Actually, before that, I forgot to mention this earlier. Kirito, not Kirito, Alice says, repeats Selka over and over, and she's like, Selka. I do not remember her face or her voice, but at the end of nights, I always repeat her name, Selka. While I do not remember her, my mouth, my throat, my heart does. I'm like, that's an interesting choice of dialogue. I would have just said my heart. Why we gotta bring your throat and your mouth into this? But whatever, A1. Okay, Alice, you do you, whatever floats your boat, I guess. Anyway, we get the shot of them, the camera pans up, shows off the stars in that sky. And then we see Selka. She's looking up in the sky, and she's like, I do have a family. I do have a sister of my own flesh and blood. Yada yada yada. And she starts crying, and of course goes into like her dress or skirt, whatever you want to call it, and starts crying into it. This whole scene was nowhere near as beautiful as that, or jaw-dropping, I should say, as what happened in Erase when Satoru brought Kai over to underneath that tree, and we just got that beautiful panorama shot of of the sky. I'm sure I wasn't the only one that had my jaw on the floor when I saw that scene in Erase. It wasn't as beautiful as that, but hey, still looks pretty good. Anyway, so as I was saying, Kirito says he'll bring her to Grendel, to show her Selka before they restore her memories back. So, and she then says, "All right, I've made up my mind. Stands up, and says, I, Alice, has made up my mind to defend the people of the human realm. I shall forsake my job as an integral knight." And then she stops. I thought she was about to have a heart attack or something, but she says, And Kirita's like, yo, Alice, you good? And then we see her right eye light up. The exact same way Yujo's did with the whole system error code thing. And it's like, what the hell is this? And she's like, what the hell is going on? It's like, it must be a and Kirita tells her it must be a psychological block to keep you from defying the church. I see. How cruel. To not even my mind. My mind is even controlled by someone. Was it the administrator? And he said, nah. It must have been the gods that created this world. He's like, gods. I see. And so while she's gripping her Kirita's sword, she says her eyes on fire, and we actually see her crying a bit, probably from the pain. Then she gets into Kirita, then she brings herself into Kirito, and she tells her, Kirito, hold me firmly. He holds her firmly. and then she's like, I am not a puppet. And then she just goes full on rebel, I do not give a fuck. I ain't nobody's bitch. You don't control me. Y'all don't control shit. You know that old thing, but she doesn't say it like that. She's like, I have my own mind. I am not a puppet. So to accomplish my mission, I shall fight you. And then we see her eye just go, and then we don't see her eye explode like we did with Yujo's. Just the whole screen just gets filled up with blood splurts or red. Bro, the whole screen gets colored in red before the middle part of it just goes into white-ish, and then we transfer back over to Yujo, which takes over the second half of the episode, which, man, the second half, man. Oh, man, Yujo, man, why'd you gotta grab the forbidden fruit, man? Why'd you have to fall for the bait? Yeah, you fell for her trap, you took the bait, and now you will pay the consequences of eating the forbidden fruit. Ah, my man Yujo, come on, man. You did really good. You had to go fuck yourself up, man. Well, that wasn't the only thing you were fucking. I'm sure we can all agree on that front. Anyway, before I get demonetized. Oh, wait! Never mind, you can get demonetized for comments now, too! Wow! Seriously, that's fucking bullshit right there, guys. I don't make money off of these videos at all, because I don't meet YouTube's requirements, but I still say that's fucking bullshit. That the fact that the words of other people get you fucking demonetized, that's some fucking bullshit right there. YouTube, go fuck yourself with that bullshit, man. Anyway, enough of that. That's all I gotta say on that front. That's some fucking bullshit if I've ever seen it. Anyway, so back to the episode. So we're with Yujo. We're in this wooden house. I thought this might have been some floor in the cathedral they went into, but no, this is all a dream sequence. So it's Yujo's house. He goes over to his mom's room. He's calling her, Yujo. When we see his mom, it's the administrator, but her eyes are covered. They have that blinding white light you see a lot in anime when animators, mangakas, or whatever don't want to show the parents' faces for whatever reason. Anyway, so the second half. Anyway, so Yujo goes in there. He's like, Mom. Well, what is it, Mom? Why you guys where's Mom and Dad? Where's Dad and the brothers? He's like, oh, you killed them. And he's like, what? He looks at his hands. They're soaked in blood. Which I say, yo, the art in this episode was fucking phenomenal. I mean, whoever was the artist on the blood on Yujo's hands deserves a fucking raise. Because that blood looked so damn good. That's some of the best looking blood I've ever seen. The best looking blood I've ever seen on hands. That was some damn good looking blood, if I do say so myself. Anyway, so the blood was fucking phenomenal. Anyway, so he wakes up, he's like, what the hell? And he's at the top floor of the cathedral, right next to the administrator's room, or her bed. And, he walks inside, and he's like, what the hell, where am I? Remembers, we get a little flashback of whatever of what happened last week. We find out the dude's name, it's, Cauldron? No, that's not Cauldron. I forget the dude's name. The dude's name is slipping my mind right now, but we learned the name of that weird dude that we saw last week. His name is slipping my mind right now for some reason. Anyway, yeah. So, He kind of looks around, sees the administrators, and sees that's the administrator, and he goes inside. I am screaming at my. This is when and throughout this whole part, I was screaming at my TV, constantly telling like, "Usual, don't go in there, don't go in there, you fucking idiot!" Lie. You thought I was watching a fucking horror movie with how much I was screaming at my damn TV. So, anyway, so Usual goes in there. He pulls out the knife. He's like, no wait, this is for Alice. I shouldn't use it now. I'm like, bro, fuck Alice. You are right here with prime position to kill the administrator, take her down. She's sleeping. She don't know you're here. As far as you know, at least. But let's be honest, she knows that he's there. I mean, she was infecting his dreams, so she knows he's there. But at the same time, you got the knife. Use it. Akira got Alice taken care of. Use the damn knife. And then the wall starts talking, saying like, "No, run, Yujo, run!" Because he starts like, because for some reason he crawls. When he gets inside, he crawls for some reason. She gets right over to him, and she's like, and he sends his hand out to her, and she's like, "No, Yujo, run!" I'm pretty sure that's Kid Alice talking. She's like talking through like the pigeon on the wall, and I'm like, "Yes, Yujo, listen to the talking pigeon on the wall or ceiling, I should say." And so he's about to use, and when we get these close-ups of the administrator, I won't lie. Like usual, I was mesmerized by her beauty. I won't lie to y'all. She's fucking hot. I won't lie. She's fucking hot, bros. Like, she's sexy. I won't lie. She low-key kind of fucking sexy. I won't lie. What, like the art team, like whoever was the artist on that scene right there of these close-ups with the administrator's face while she's sleeping deserves a fucking raise. That man deserves a raise for that, because that was some. There's so much detail in there, and I don't know, man. I'm sure it was the only one that was low-key kind of mesmerized, because yeah, we've seen shots of her before, but this is the real time we really get a good close-up of her face. I won't lie, she's fucking hot, man. She's like, as though as I can, and I'm like, yo, I'm low-key attracted to this woman, but I don't know why I am, because she's kind of crazy. Whatever. So anyway, as I was saying, so she then wakes up, and I'm like, oh, Yujo, you done fucked up, bro. Get the fuck out there. And, you know, the talking pigeon is like, run, Yujo. I'm like, yes, please, run, Yujo, while she still isn't completely aware of your surroundings. But nah, he just kind of sits there, and she wakes up, rubs her eye a little bit, and she says, oh, you poor child. Poor? Huh? Yes, you're like a withering potted flower. Well, that's interesting. Okay. And she's like, you thirst for, and then you thirst for love, and that's what takes over this last part. And this is how the administrator manipulates Yujo. Now, remember she said earlier on that, you know, you killed your father and brothers. That also that you never have, that you say like you don't know what, and Yuja tells her that you make it sound like I don't know what love is. Well, you don't. You never have been loved. He says, that's wrong. My mom loves me. Of course, obviously. But she never loved you alone. She was a share between you, your brothers, and your father. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but Yujo doesn't have any brothers, because I don't recall there ever being any mention of brothers, especially now, since you know the dub is airing now. There has not been any mention of Yujo having brothers. So could it be that she's planting memories in him to perhaps manipulate him even more so, to make her, you know, fall in line with him and manipulate him and seduce him? Like I said, this episode reminded me a lot of Tokyo Ghoul and the latest issue of Venom, which I will get to that in a bit. So anyway, so as I was saying, so Yujo, she's like, and so she's like, no, you're wrong. You know, my mom loves me, and that's why. And then she's like, no, and she's like, yeah, but I would never love was for you, and there's just Alice, and of course, what happened with Ronnie, and of course when she was raped by Rias, and that's why you raised your sword at him, because you were pissed off, because the one woman that actually solely loved you, and he took it forward, and he was forced to take it away from you. You didn't like that. That's why you raised your sword out to strike him, because you were so angry. He's like, no, that wasn't the reason I raised my sword. And of course, talks about Alice, but she's like, did Alice really love you? And she also says, that's why you hated your brothers and your father. It's like, no, I did. It says you slashed them. It's like, no, I didn't. So we get this flashback, and she's like, let me show you if she actually did, if she ever did love you. Let me go into the memories that you harbor deep within your heart. And we get to Yujo when he was a kid. He remembers Kirito this time. He says, Kirito, I haven't seen Kirito and Alice. Now, so this is interesting. So is Yujo going to remember all the memories with Kirito? Because Kirito, because Yujo doesn't remember anything with Kirito anymore. Like, he remembers everything that's happened with Alice and everything, but he doesn't remember that Kirito was there. So I'm curious if this is gonna like bring back all his memories. He's gonna remember Kirito, completely just like that. We'll have to wait and see on that. Anyway, so. And so, and then he's like, "What, man? I didn't see Alice. Let me see Kirito now." They're in like this little flower, like gardenish area. It's like, "Oh yeah, like, hey, it's getting kind of late. We should go." And Alice says, "No, we can stay for a little bit longer." And Alice looks at Kirito, and Kirito looks at Alice. Although, if you are like me, you are a dirty motherfucker, or you see this through Yujo's eyes. You can make the argument that they kissed there, but let's be honest, they didn't. Although you could make the argument from the way it looks. It does look. I mean, we don't hear nothing or see nothing. We just kind of see their faces kind of like come to meet with each other to where it looks like they could have. But let's be honest, they didn't. I mean, let's not get ahead of ourselves, you sick fucks. Come on, get your heads out of the gutter, just fucking sadistic bastards. Anyway. So then we return back to real time, and it's like, but I am willing to love you, Yujo. I am willing to love you with everything I have, as long as you love me. And she gets in front of him, and starts undressing. And she, we can see her completely, her hair's covering her boobs, her nipples, let's be honest. I mean, this is anime, not hentai haven. And I'm like, whoa, this is way more than I bargained for. I'm like, whoa, how did I bargain for this? Whoa, why are we getting episode 10 again? Whoa. I'm getting like, what is that? Can I say or some shit? So I'm not gonna wait for like a sexy or something. And so, Yujo is like, is this what love is? Is it like money where you can only use it to buy valuables? And he's about to extend to out to the mission, but then Ronnie kind of pops up and he's like, Yujo senpai, no, this isn't what love is. And then he reaches over to grab Ronnie, but this barrier appears before her, and he can't. Young Alice shows up. Same thing. What you gotta say, this song they have playing here. Oh my god, that song's so beautiful. I'm pretty sure it was the ED. The same song that's used in the ED, but a different section of it, because, by god, was that... Oh my god, that song was fucking beautiful, guys. Like, oh my god, that song was beautiful. Now, and so after that, and then Kirito shows up, we don't even hear what he says. The bear just shows up, and we don't see him. And he's kind of left there. We come back to reality. We see Yujo's eyes. We don't get a close-up on, but you can tell from how it was shot. His eyes are dead and lifeless. Lifeless eyes. I recognize those eyes anywhere because I suffered from the travesty that was school days. So I recognize when I see dead, lifeless eyes. And that's what Yujo had. So then he extends his hand out to the administrator. I'm screaming at my television like it's a horror movie, and he's going to he's going to the room where the serial killer is, but she's seducing the main character, and you just screaming at him like, you fool, get out of there. You're just screaming at your television just like I was. I'm sure I wasn't the only one that was screaming at my television screen or my laptop or my computer monitor. I'm sure I was the only one that was screaming. And so then Yujo kind of just falls on top of her, and she's like, yes, Yujo, come to me, Yujo, into me. I'm like, what the fuck do you mean by into you? Jesus Christ, woman! So, and then she's like, okay, now say this, and I will show you eternal salt. I will show you eternal bliss like you have never seen it before. She's obviously, let's be honest, she's saying, I will fuck you like you have never seen before, porn. Yeah. I'm not gonna go any farther than that with that joke. I don't need this shit fucking on me and some shit. Anyway, so she's like, yo, I'm gonna offer you the best time of your life. Yo, etc. You guys know what she's offering. The best time of his life, the greatest sex he'll ever have. Anyway, so Yujo says, now say this, now repeat after me. System call. Release, I forget what the rest of the phrase were. It was like release core protection, I think it was called. And so she's like, system call. I'm screaming my television like, no, Yujo, you fool, you idiot! I'm screaming, and then we see, was this the right thing for me to do? I'm like, no, you dumbass! No, this wasn't the right thing to do, you fucking idiot! Like I said, I was screaming my television. I was screaming my TV. And then, after that, and he says, but I don't want to be alone anymore. I want to feel love. I don't want to be alone anymore. I don't want to be sad anymore. And then he says the rest of the phrase, and when he says protection, he starts crying. So I guess you should realize he done fucked up. Now, let's get into the main reason now. Let's get into these subs I mentioned earlier on in the episode. Or my review, I should say. The comparisons with Tokyo Ghoul and Venom that I noticed with this week's episode. So, let's first start off with Tokyo Ghoul. Actually, before we begin that part, allow me, y'all, to give you my final verdict. So my final verdict for this week's episode of Sword Art Online Alicization is indeed a 10 out of 10, which I'm sure none of y'all were surprised by that. But anyway, for now, let's get into the discussion part of this review, and let me just talk about the comparison I know between this, TG, and of course, Venom. So with Tokyo Ghoul, I'm sure I wasn't the only one that noticed a lot of Kaneki similarities with him. This whole scene reminded me a lot of the whole last episode, and really a little bit about Chapter 125, but for different reasons, obviously, of Ri. And of course, Tokyo Ghoul. So as we know, in the final episode of Tokyo Ghoul, Kaneki took Kaneki throughout his life. And of course, we got to the scene where Kaneki's mom died, and why she didn't overwork herself because of Kaneki's aunt just leeching off of her, and saying that you wanted her to pick over you, you wanted her to pick you over your aunt, you wanted her to tell her sister to tell her to go fuck herself, get a real job, and stop leeching off of her. You want that. Kaneki was obviously denying it before he finally said, "Yes, I want that." And, of course, the loneliness. Because, as you know, Kaneki is a very, very lonely person. Especially if you've read the manga. Like, I'd say the anime has done a decent job of portraying Kaneki's loneliness and just his overall just brokenness. But I would definitely say, I would be lying if I said the manga doesn't go in far more detail and is overall superior. I will not lie about that fact. The manga is better. But I still say the anime is fucking awesome. But and I know, and that just reminds me a lot of Kaneki with, because usually, I mean, we know this man has definitely been through a lot, and we also could probably add that he's also lonely at times. I mean, doing that job, losing Alice, and of course, not feeling loved, surely isn't, I mean, it's kind of reminding me of Kaneki, where the man implanted his own memories about his mom, saying oh, she was a kind woman, she was always there for me, she always helped out. When in actuality, especially if you read the manga or watched Ri Season 1, she was abusive towards Kaneki. She abused him. She was an abusive mother. Now, I'm not saying Yujo's mom was abusive. I mean, we can all agree that's not, as far as we know. But I definitely noticed a lot of comparisons with that, and I wouldn't be surprised if Reki Kawahara is also a Sword Art Online fan, or Tokyo Ghoul fan, but as I recall, these chapters were written far before Tokyo Ghoul was even a thing. So, I don't know, maybe so. But I noticed a lot. I noticed a lot of Kaneki similarities there. Got a lot of Kaneki vibes off that whole scene. As far as Venom is concerned, it reminded me a lot of what happened in the latest issue. Where in the latest issue we find out about a major spoiler alert for the latest issue of Venom. So if you guys are currently reading the comic, you haven't read this issue, just click off the video right now, come back when you read the issue, because it's fucking awesome. Or, you know, of course, read the comic while you're watching my reaction side by side. So, yeah. Anyway, so as I was saying, so with Venom, we learned that in the recent issue of Venom, where we know Eddie was very lonely, and he had a sister, and of course that he blamed himself, the cancer, and of course everything that went down in his life. We found out that all these memories of him having a sister, an uncle, and watching him die, and cancer were all implanted by Venom to make sure Eddie doesn't leave, and as always sticks with, and that that Eddie would never leave them. So because Venom, I guess, was lonely, and I guess there was some truth to that line in the Venom movie where it says, "Because of my world, I am a loser like you, Eddie." And it just reminded me a lot of that scene, because I wouldn't be surprised if the administrator is implanting memories into Usual, or maybe switching them around, twisting the truth a little bit to make sure that he's more manipulated, to make him more easily manipulated, so that she can get his way with Usual and do God knows what with him. Whether that makes him an integral 9 or makes her a puppet, we'll have to wait and see on what happens to Usual. But it reminded me a lot of Venom and the little similarities there with Venom implant memories, and he of course tried to realize that this happened, and a lot of other stuff went down. Like, this episode was fucking awesome, and I really did how much we learned about Yujo as a character, and he's definitely one of the more interesting characters of the SAO because there's just so much to him. Like, you could definitely say Ricky has been like learning from his mistakes and it has been growing as a writer steadily since what happened in season 1 and season 2 of the anime. And I'm assuming also the light novels that the anime adapted from. So, yeah. Yeah, this episode was amazing. This episode was amazing, guys. So, like I said, I already gave you guys my final verdict. So anyway, guys, so hope you all enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you didn't, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter if you like. Links down in the description box below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time.